Hello everybody, Scrappy Kathy here with Mixed Media Frenzy. Actually, this is take two of this sketch. I'm going to show you the one I did, and the video is going to remain out there on my page. I'm going to take the Mixed Media Frenzy if I can. In any way, in any case, I will note it. I'll notate it out on my channel as how not to do mixed media with embossing powders. And this one I hope is going to be very much shorter because I'm not going to try to go all the way through it. I'm not going to heat the embossing powder underneath. I'll just kind of show you how I'm applying it and tell you about some of the lessons I learned doing the bad one. And here's the bad one. Here's the one. There's a lot about this that I like. Number one, I like the photos. I'm going to have to very carefully remove them because I'm going to use them on my new page. I like I used this Stampendous encrusted jewel kit, and I tried to use everything that was in it, and that was kind of ridiculous. I like these splats, these big splats that I did with the chunky white embossing enamel that came in it, and I just kind of piled it up, but I will tell you it took almost 10 minutes of heating each one of these for those to melt down. So hopefully we'll have a quicker way of doing that today. I also used these stamps. I kind of thought that would add some interest. And when I was done, it kind of looked unbalanced, so I tried to fix it with some dry brush paint across, but it was so different in texture from the embossing powders that it just didn't look good, and it just didn't work, and it's just awful. So I'm going to give it a stab again. Just to describe my process to you, I'm first of all going to wet my Versamark pad with some more of the embossing ink, and I possibly should have done that ahead of time, but I am glad I didn't, because it reminded me to tell you that that was kind of one of the things I had wrong. A lot of the powders, came off, and I've still got some of the things that were supposed to stick in the powder as it melted into enamel, some of these dry bits that don't have any stickiness to them. And they came off because the powder didn't stick because there wasn't enough of the ink on the pads. The pad wasn't juicy enough. It's an old pad, and as you can tell by the color of it, it's kind of been used a lot. I use this one on dark papers. That's possibly not the way to do that. I have another kind of ink that does spread that way, so I think that's going to work. In any case, I'm going to create this strong horizontal line, I'm just going to take it across the page, probably twice because of the size of my photos. Then I'm going to put use a couple stencils that will make the splatter looks around the photo cluster, and then a different stencil to make the large splatters that are kind of out in the white space, or in my case, in the black space. And I've got a variety of powders that I'm going to try to do all of that quickly, so I'm not going to stop and explain a lot along the way. I'm going to do it quickly enough that I can put the powders on, and then I'm going to melt them with the heat off camera, and I'll post the things. This is kind of how not to do it. Make sure your pad's juicy enough. I was thinking that the stamping would be good to give me some of the balance that these splatters gave me. What I'm trying to do is not do just big splashes of ink. I do that all the time, so I wanted to try something different. So I just, and the, you know, as I mentioned before, the texture of the paint just didn't really go with the kind of raised, really vibrant texture and colors of the embossing powder. So here I go. I'm just going to kind of go across this way, and it's okay with me if it doesn't completely, I want it to go all the way to the end of the page. I'm going to put another pad under here just so that I don't get any of this ink on my new cutting pad there. Okay, so we've got that there. Now I'm going to take this. I want, imagining the photos are going to be there. I kind of want this big splat right here. That's actually, okay, let me just kind of do this and come up there. I'm hoping, okay, and now I want to take this and go kind of right here, and it's overlapping the band, and the band is going to be white, so I'm going to add the embossing powders, and I'll show this on camera. I'll put the embossing powder on the splats first, and I'm going to use this little straw with a spoon on the end of it to kind of control things. And I think I'll just kind of put this one maybe going this way. Now I'll do it this way. Here. And you can kind of see those shapes on there. I want to do this big splat here. And this one up here. I'll do a big splat there. And there are quite a few more splats on the sketch, but I don't know that I'm gonna try to do all of those. I'll concentrate them primarily over on this one side. Maybe put one right there. And a big one here. Maybe this one here. Okay, let me just call it quits there. I have a stamp here as well that I wanted to do for something of a border, and I'm going to try to get it on there as let's see. I'll try to extend it so it doesn't stop right there, and I may have a problem lining it up, and I'm not going to care a whole lot if it's lined up. I'll let it be a little bit kind of wonky. Okay, there we go, and I can see that I have another little spot right here to kind of fill in. Okay, So now let's hope that has stayed wet enough. I'm going to take some of this embossing powder for this big slat right here. This is a mix of several things that I used on the last layout, and I mixed up all the different powders that I was using. It mixed when I shook them off the sheet. So I'm going to let these be and what I'm trying to go for are the splat. That's the splat colors. And then I will try to do just white on the horizontal bar part. I want to do some of the crystal powder on the little zigzag lines. So I'm going to kind of do some, I know the zigzag line was here. It's here and here. It'll form, it dries clear, but there's kind of a glittery crystal sort of look to it. So it'll kind of still provide something of the look of a border. Now, inside that border, I'm going to use this chunky white, and I'm going to kind of like sprinkle it out. So that I get not a solid white border there, and there'll be some sprinkles over into there. Okay, what I like about that glitter are when it comes out dotty. So I'm not going to use any of that other dry stuff on top of it, and I'm going to kind of press that down so that as much as possible stays on that glue. And if by pressing this down, I end up blending some other things in there, I'm kind of going to be okay with that. I'm now going to okay, this may be another how not to video. As you can see, right in here, we've kind of lost and to be honest, I don't know how I could have done that, but this is kind of where the photo goes, and that may not look too bad. There are going to be bits that have kind of stuck where my fingers were, and I'm really not going to get as much of the dotty stuff, although a lot of what looks white and cloudy here will dry clear. So I'm going to end the video now, and I'm going to go use my heat tool underneath this. It's going to take a while, not as long as this other one took, and I'll put the finished layout out when I post this, but I encourage you to try things with embossing powders. For me personally, it's kind of an underused supply that I have, and until I made this layout, I hadn't even opened this package of encrusted jewel kits stuff, and I probably haven't had it for maybe 6 or 7 years. So this was kind of a season to try to do to use underused things. So let me go see what I can do with this, and I'll take the photos off of this light hat and put them on here. And we'll see you next week, hopefully with a project that demonstrates something that I actually know how to do. So bye. Thanks for watching.